Hey everybody, this is the 20-gallon tank I have in my wife's room, and I was just coming in here to do a quick water change, no fuss, no muss. I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it, and then I decided I may as well shoot a simple before and after video of this one because it's going to be a pretty significant change when I'm done. I'm removing a bunch of the plants in there. I kind of forgot how overgrown this tank had gotten. If you can see all that floating water Sprite, all of those little sort of nodes where you see the roots growing out of the central point, those are all individual plants that have grown off of that one large plant. So what I'm probably going to do is remove the large plant and most of the larger plants that are in there and leave maybe one or two small ones still floating and just allow them to grow back in. I really like this tank more opened up and brightly lit than it is. And then of course I'm going to do a simple water change when I'm in there, and I don't really see anything else that needs doing. I'll do a filter change, but that's just a little hang on the back filter, so it's just a matter of replacing the filter pad. No real need to video that or anything. So again, probably just going to be a simple before and after. So there's your before, and there's your after. So real simple water change. Again, no big deal. I didn't even get in there and wipe the glass down. I swapped out the filter pad after I was done. I don't know how you do it, but I always leave the filter till last. If it's going to be, a water change and I'm stirring up the tank and I'm pouring fresh water in, it gets everything all swirled up and swirling around, and just I leave the old filter in there and let it just collect all that stuff up. And when I'm finished and the tank's beginning to settle down a little bit, that's when I put a new filter pad in and it gets to kind of sort of start fresh. So we did that, and then of course I took a bunch of the water Sprite out. I do have a lot of the water Sprite for sale, as usual, so you can check my email in the description below. I will say the water Sprite in this tank is actually lace leaf water Sprite. That is not the weird growth defect I've got in my other water Sprite that comes from what I believe to be a CalMag deficiency. This is actually lace leaf water Sprite. It's meant to look like that, and it's a really pretty, well, it's a fern technically. I know it doesn't really look like a fern, but it is a fern, and it's got a really pretty frond on it. So I do have the lace leaf available for sale too. So I'm going to keep on with my evening. I got a couple more tanks upstairs that I want to work on. One last thing I will say about this tank is I've got a lot of snails in here. When I brought that water Sprite up here and put it in the tank, I also added some of that Java fern fairly recently, the last few months. And of course I put snails in the tank when I did it. And so what I'm considering doing to get rid of the snails at this point, I got the idea tonight. I've got some coolie loaches in my quarantine tank in the basement. I don't know if coolie loaches go after snails the way all the other loaches do, but I believe they do. I believe that is the case. So what I plan on doing eventually is digging those coolie loaches out of the quarantine tank. I've tried to get them out of there 2 or 3 times, and they're just, I'm going to have to make an event of it. I'm going to have to drain some of the water to get the net in there properly. I've got the tank sitting on the lower shelf, so it's kind of limited wiggle room getting the net in there to maneuver around. It's one thing catching guppies and angelfish out of quarantine. Those coolie loaches are something altogether different. So we'll get them out of there at some point and put them in this tank, and hopefully that will solve my snail problem in here. And then in the meantime, like I said, everything else is just looking good and ticking over, no issues. So as I said, I'm going to get on with it. I got a few other tanks I want to tend to this evening, so make sure you subscribe. That way, if I do get around to shooting any video of those tanks, you won't miss them. And then don't forget, I call this one here my wife's tank. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you real soon on the next one.